In this section, we will be multiplying radicals. If you have not yet watched the videos on simplifying radicals and or adding and subtracting radicals, that may be helpful prior to watching this. So if you have questions on what I'm doing when I'm combining like radicals or simplifying, if there's a point for that in this lesson, just make sure you go back and watch how to do those things. So for number 1, we're really just distributing here. We're going to take this square root of 7 and we're going to distribute it to both terms in the parentheses. You can only multiply the stuff under the radical with other stuff under the radical, and stuff outside the radical with other stuff outside the radical. So for example, this square root of 7 times 5, the 5 is not under the radical and the 7 is. So when you multiply those, it's understood to have a 1 coefficient out front. You're really just multiplying 1 times 5, which gets you the 5. And then there's nothing to multiply the 7 with, so you have 5 times the square root of 7. If we multiply the next things, the square root of 7 times 2 square root of 7, 2 times 1, which is the stuff on the outside, is 2. 7 times 7 is 49. So you do go ahead and multiply the stuff that's underneath together. So we have 2 times the square root of 49. The next step is to try to simplify if you can. So the square root of 49 is 7. So this simplifies to 7. And you multiply that by the coefficient that was there. So this would be 5 times the square root of 7 plus 14. 2 times 7 is 14. These are not like radicals, so you cannot combine them. So that is your answer, 5 square root of 7 plus 14. Number 2, square root of 3 times the square root of 2. Those are both under the radical, so you multiply those together to get the square root of 6. And then the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 9. 6 will not simplify. If you make a factor tree for it, you'll see that you just get 2 times 3, and there are no pairs. 9 will though. 9 is 3. So we have the square root of 6 minus 3. Those are not like radicals, so that's all we can do. Number 3. 4 square root of 6 times 3 square root of 2. So the numbers in the front, 4 times 3, that's 12. And the numbers underneath, 6 times 2, that's 12. So we have 12 square root of 12 for the first part. Now we're going to distribute the 4 square root of 6 times 4. The 4 on the right is outside, so 4 times 4 is 16. There's nothing to multiply the square root of 6 with, so it just comes down. Now we try to reduce. So we want to reduce the square root of 12. 12 breaks down into 4 and 3. 4 breaks down into 2 and 2. We have a pair of 2's, so a 2 comes out, a leftover 3, that stays under. So square root of 12 reduces to 2 square root 3. And when you multiply, you get 24 square root of 3 plus 16 square root of 6. These are not like terms, so this is as far as you can go. Number 4. This is the first time we're multiplying a binomial with a binomial. So 1, 2, and 3 have just been distributing one term to a binomial. Now we're distributing 2 terms to another 2 terms. So let's start with the 2 square root of 7. We'll multiply there, and we get 8 times the square root of 49. And then we want to multiply there, and we get 18 square root of 14. We've distributed the 2 square root of 7. Now we're going to do the same thing with the 5 square root of 11. So negative 5 square root of 11 times 4 square root of 7. That's negative 20 times the square root of 77. And then multiply here, and we get negative 45 times the square root of 22. So now if we try to simplify any of these, the only one that will simplify is the square root of 49, which is 7. So we'll get 8 times 7 is 56, and then we just bring everything else down. We can't simplify the radicals, and none of them are like radicals. So that's all we can do. Okay, 2 more examples. We have 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 square root of 5 is 6 square root 5. We've distributed the 2. Now we're going to distribute the negative 3 square root of 5. So that'll be negative 6 square root of 5 and negative 9 square root 25. Notice the 2 terms in the middle are like terms, so they're both square roots of 5. They're like radicals. And notice that they're opposites. We have a 6 minus 6. That's going to give us 0. So those cancel. The square root of 25 is 5. So I'm going to end up with 4 minus 45, which is a negative, oops, not 44, negative 41. All right, number 6. We have this binomial squared. So what you really want to do to make sure that you don't make a mistake is you want to write it down twice. So you're multiplying this by itself. So square root of 6 times square root of 6 is square root 36. This is going to be minus 2 times the square root of 18. We distributed that onto the negative 2 square root of 3. So when we multiply here, we get minus 2 square root 18, and then we get plus 4 square root 9. The middle 2 terms this time are like, so they're like radicals, but they're not opposite signs. So you're going to have to actually add those together. Square root of 36 is 6, the square root of 9 is 3. So we'll have 6 minus 4 square root of 18, because negative 2 and negative 2 is negative 4, plus 12, because 4 times 3 is 12. Now we have 6 minus 12, that's like, so we can say 18 minus 4 square root 18. These are not like terms or like radicals, so that's it.